Good morning. Good morning. It is Wednesday. It's early. It's 6:08 in Arizona right now. My name is Jackie Lawrence. I'm with Thick Blonde Lashes. You are on my personal wall, and I'm here to give you a makeup tutorial. My coffee is pumpkin spice. Okay, I need to invite some people here that requested this video. So I hold the phone. Okay. Good morning. Hi, Danielle. Hello, Tanya. All right, I'm here to give you 6 tips. And I'm going to walk through these tips as I do them. Hi, Maggie. Good evening, Maggie in Australia. Hi, Rachel. I'm here to give you 6 tips on how to avoid under eye smudging. So this is for someone that maybe you don't initially get under eye smudging when you put on your makeup, but maybe you get smudging throughout the day, okay? So you've noticed by midday or end of day, your mascara or your eyeliner or your shadow has moved and you now have kind of a dark circle underneath your eye. Good morning, Shay. Lupe. Okay, so first and foremost, we need to peel back, and this is tip number 1, to your skincare routine. So if you are using an under eye treatment prior to putting on makeup, hi Heather, your under eye creamer, under eye, whatever you're using, needs to be light. So if you're someone that's using a heavy emollient for under eye corrective area before you put on makeup, that could be the reason why your makeup's moving, okay? If it's heavy, it's very moisturized, or it's an oil-based under eye emollient, I would switch to something much lighter weight. Hang on a second. My nose is running. Okay? Something much lighter weight. So that's going to be tip number 1. Something very lightweight in your under eye area so that your product isn't moving around because of the emollient or treatment that you're putting under your eyes. And that doesn't necessarily mean for everyone, just for those of you that have issues with your eyeliner or mascara or shadow moving throughout the day. Tip number 2, okay, is primer. So I always talk about putting primer on the lid, right? And that's what I have on right now. I've used a cream shadow, okay, as a primer. That's what I have on my top lid. Same with the bottom, okay? So I'm actually going to use an eye primer, okay? And you'll definitely want to put an eye primer on the bottom. So, and you don't need a ton, so I'm just putting a little dot of my eye primer. So let's do that. Little eye primer, okay? And I'm going to give you several tips on how to remedy this issue. You don't necessarily have to do all of these tips, but you can try a couple of them and see if they work for you. Okay, so you want to let that primer kind of set for a minute. So this is what I would suggest you do is once you've got your primer on your eyes, you do want it to set for a moment. So what I like to do is my brows, and then I come back and do my eyes. I've already done my brows, but we're going to keep going. So tip number 1 is to use a lightweight under eye treatment prior to underneath your makeup if you're using a treatment. Number 2 is to use primer in the entire area. So that means top and bottom. I think a lot of times we focus on just the top. If you're someone where your makeup moves a lot on the bottom, you want to use a primer on the bottom. Tip number 3 is to use a setting powder prior, okay, to putting on your eye makeup. So this is translucent setting powder, and this is what you're going to do. I'm actually going to use the powder concealer brush, and I'm going to use this small side. Okay, so it's going to be more helpful to actually keep that area really, really dry prior to putting on any product. So I'm just going to dip it into my little container here, and then I'm going to go in, and I'm actually going to do top and bottom. So corner, and then go underneath. And that way it keeps the area really dry. Instant lifting serum under my eyes. No, you can, the instant lifting serum is a lightweight. Just make sure, Heather, that when you use it, that you're using the tiniest amount. you would be surprised at how little you actually need. Like less than a pea size. Okay, just enough, because instant lifting serum isn't meant to be like doused in that area. Not that I think that you're doing that, but just know that that little bottle should last you a really long time. Okay, so just put the tiniest amount in that area underneath where you need it. And then what you want to do, Heather, is you want to let that dry. So when you put your instant lifting serum on, let it dry. So what I do is I put that on, and then I will go and brush my teeth or I'll do my hair, or I'll change my clothes, and then I put my moisturizer on after that, okay? But I avoid heavy moisturizer under my eye area, okay? So you can dab maybe a little bit there on top of your instant lifting serum, or you can skip it altogether depending on how dry you are. But more than likely you're not dry there if you're getting, if your product's moving throughout the day. Okay, so you can just avoid that area and put moisturizer everywhere else. You're gonna want to focus on your heavy moisturizer for that under eye area, which you never wanna skip at night. Okay, so I just showed you tip number 3, was just to put setting powder on your eyes before you put on your eye makeup. Okay, so let's do it. I'm gonna put some makeup on for you too. Hi Mimi, hi Kimberly. Let's see, what am I going to use today? I'm going to do, okay, so first of all, oh, here's another tip. This is a side tip. The side tip is that I have on my foundation and I have a little powder on, okay? I actually wait to do my under eye concealer until after I've done my top eyelid. Okay, because sometimes when you put product on your top eyelid, if it falls onto the underneath your eye area and then you try to wipe it away, it can create smudging or it can create problems. And you've spent all this time doing an amazing concealer under your eye and now you've ruined it all. So we're gonna do the top lid first. We're gonna do a concealer under eye area, okay, and then I'll actually do my bottom. So let's get to this. I am today going to use the color Astute, okay, and this is a brand new color. Good morning, Lisa. And I'm going to show you which one I'm going to use right here. It's this one right here. It's just a kind of a neutral color. It's called Astute. And we're going to do that into the crease area. So I'm going to use a crease brush. Get another tissue here. I'm going to kind of do a smoky eye. I'm going to do a dark eye with black eyeliner because I know that that's typically what creates that smudging effect, so I want to show you how to do that with black eyeliner. Okay, so I'm just going to go right into the crease and use it as a transition color to create some dimension. Hey, Kristen. I am drinking pumpkin spice coffee this morning, you guys, and I'm loving it. I'm ready for fall. Yesterday, one of my makeup clients brought me, let me show it to you. She brought me the cutest little thing. Look, isn't that sweet? You know, I am not a domesticated, like decorative person. I did not get that from my mom's genes. That was not passed down to me. My mom is really into decorating and her house is immaculate all the time. In fact, my brothers and I used to joke that we lived in a hospital because it was like literally sterile and clean all the time, which I appreciate today. Okay, I didn't appreciate that as a kid because I was a little shit, but I appreciate that today. I did not inherit that. My house is kind of clean, but I have clutter everywhere. I can't stand it. I need to fix that part of my life. And I never decorate. Like anytime you find a decoration in my house, it's been because someone bought it for me. So it's always fun to get little decorations, especially ones that are seasonal, because I just don't have any. Or my decorations are hand-me-downs from my mom. When she decides to change her decor, she brings over all her stuff to my house, which I also appreciate. Okay, so this color is brand new, you guys. It's called Astute. You can get it as a single palette or a single little eyeshadow, or you can get it in a quad, meaning you can pick 4 of your own colors. And I really like this one because it's like the perfect little neutral. And you can see it creates a little bit of dimension in my eye. All right. Then I am going to use Magnificent. No, is this Magnificent? This is Skeptical. Look at that, you guys. Isn't that pretty? This is a black cream shadow. So I need my cream shadow brush. And we're going to put that on top. And you're going to see it's not a heavy black. It's kind of a muted black with a shimmer to it. It's really, really pretty. And a cream shadow goes on creamy, but it dries to a powder finish. See how it kind of goes on gray and muted? So you can kind of make it as dark as you want to. Hi, Kylie. So I'm kind of going right into the crease, and I'm going to blend it up into that Astute transition color that I used. And right now I'm just kind of spreading the color on. I'm going to show you how to get that really pretty sparkle to kind of stand out. So right now I'm spreading, okay? This is spreading and moving the pigment around. And so this is where sometimes you get droppage, right? Down here. Hi, Karen. Hello, Yannette. And when you get droppage to your bottom, like I can kind of even see a little bit. That's why I do my concealer after I've done my top, so that I can clean that area up without ruining my under eye concealer. Okay, so I've kind of spread it around. I've got it kind of as dark as I want. I'll do a little darker. I'll do a little darker. And then I'm going to kind of just feather it into the crease so it blends a little better. I'm also going to use an amazing blending brush, you guys. And then how you get the sparkle to really pop is you pat it on. So I'm just now going back over it and I'm going to pat it, pat it, pat it. Okay? And that kind of gets that shimmer to stand out. And then, this is the best blending brush in the whole wide world. It's called a blending brush. Looks like this. It's a little fat brush. And then all you do is you take it and you go in and you just blend. It is, so here's the secret. Well, it's not really a secret. It's never been a secret. I don't know why I said that. I used to use a different blending brush from a different company, MAC. I will be honest. I used to use MAC's blending brush because I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. And only because my company didn't have one. And then they must have heard me talking about it all the time. Because in August, they came out with one. So you can get it now. And it's not as much money as the MAC brush. You're welcome. So if you're just tuning in, I've already given 3 of the 6 tips for how to avoid smudging in your under eye area, okay? And right now I am putting on my eye makeup on the top lid only because I haven't done my under eye concealer yet. And that's going to be part of some of our tips. But I recommend that you put your foundation on first. Hi, Wendy. And then after you put your foundation on, you do your top lid before you put on your concealer. Now, it isn't a rule. It isn't like there's a rule book on how to put makeup on in what order. There's just suggestions. So if you are someone that gets under eye smudging, then I highly recommend that you try this technique. And when I say under eye smudging, I'm meaning halfway throughout the day or at the end of the day, your liner or mascara has moved and you now have this kind of halo darkness under your eye. Okay, so that's it. That's all I'm going to do for my top lid. So then what I'll do is if I have anything that's fallen underneath, I just kind of wipe it away like that. Good morning, Kelly. Okay. We're next going to go into my under eye concealer. You can use regular under eye concealer, okay? Now, gosh, this should be really a tip. I'm going to add a tip. That's going to be 7 tips now, so I'm going to have to go back and change that, okay? And I better make a note of that. Where's my pen? Here it is. Let's see. So this is tip 4 now. Good morning. And I'm writing it down so I don't forget to put all these tips up. Your under eye concealer. If you do get a lot of movement with your product, okay, this is extreme. This is someone that no matter what they do, they're still getting movement with their mascara, eyeliner, eyeshadow when you do under eye. I recommend you switch from a cream concealer to a powder concealer, okay? So I am going to use you can use loose mineral powder, okay? I'm actually going to use compressed powder, okay? That will also help you. So I'm just going to take my concealer brush and I'm going to get the same effect that I would get using a cream-based concealer. So you still make the triangle. And I'm using a shade, let's see, this shade is 2 shades lighter than my foundation, so it brightens. You can see what it does. It's brightening up my under eye area. It helps conceal dark circles. So what I do is I put a light layer there first. Okay, just a light layer. I'm also gonna do a little bit of a highlight down the center of my nose, just because that's what I always do. This has nothing to do with under eye area, but I've got the concealer out. Good morning, Monica. Monica, I just have to tell you that every time I see your name, all I think about is this one time. That one time in band camp, we were not in band camp. We went to the beach, and I think it was one of the first times I ever had an alcoholic beverage. And I'm pretty sure I made a fool out of myself, but I'll never forget that day. Okay, after that, hang on, I gotta blow my nose again. After that, what I do is I like to actually set this area pretty well, and I use the sponge that comes in it, and I kind of compress and set the under eye area. See that? Now don't worry, because there's going to be a lot of blending later. Some of you might be thinking, oh my gosh, it looks kind of ghostly. But I like to set it. Okay. And then we're going to come back. We're going to come back to this. But now we're going to start doing the under eye area. So let's do it. Let's see. If you're wearing eyeliner, okay, this is tip number 5 now. I gotta change my numbering because I have now 7 tips for you. If you're wearing eyeliner, I recommend that you wear something that is long wearing, okay? If you are someone that's using a department store or drugstore brand that is specific to smudging, okay, then that is not a long wearing eyeliner. In fact, I recommend you never use those, but that's just my personal opinion. I like to wear a long wear eyeliner that I can smudge out if I want to, okay? And I'm talking about a pencil, typically a pencil. It's never really a liquid. It's always gonna be a pencil. And I think that's probably the most popular type of eyeliner that most women use is pencils. So I'm gonna use Perfect. You can see I use it all the time because I have a nub left. And I'm gonna use it on my bottom lid. Okay. And I'm actually going to smudge it. I mean, I'm going to show you, I'm going to pull out all the stops on how you can do this successfully. And of course, all right. So I'm lining my lid, bottom lid. To the other side. And of course my eye's watering right now. I have a cold. And so this is not conducive to putting on makeup, but we're gonna make it work. So I've got both lids lined. This side's watering. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. It's because I have a cold. And I'm sniffling. All right. Once that's lined, now I'm going to smudge it out, okay? So, not to the point where, because I know when you guys are talking about eyeliner smudging, you're talking about how it's farther down than it should be, right? I'm just going to smudge gently, and I'm going to use another crease brush, and I'm going to use the same exact color, okay? And I'm going to go in there and smudge it out. Because I don't like that sharp, sharp, sharp line. See the difference? A little bit of smudging and not as sharp and defined. Sharp and defined is appropriate sometimes, but for this particular look, we're smudging. This eye looks better. All right. All right. Okay, the nose is running again. Hang on. You know what we can do now, you guys? Watch this. Can you see how I smudged that? Up close and personal. Okay, so is the pressed powder foundation used under your eyes, not the loose concealer powder? No. Heather, I actually just used the compressed powder foundation. Okay, but you could use loose concealer powder. I'm going to say this. The loose powder for under eye area, okay, is typically used for a baking technique, or I would say if you're under the age of 30, you should do it. But if you have more mature skin, or you're getting more mature skin, or you have fine lines, that I would avoid using the under eye loose powder for concealer, because sometimes it leaves kind of a scaly look if you've got more mature skin. So I would use the compressed powder instead. Kelly, so do you do the inside of my eyelid too? Sometimes, Kelly. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Okay, so you can do either one for this technique. Either one. Okay. So once I have that on, okay, I'm going to actually set this area now before I put on my mascara. And so I'm going to use my setting powder again. And this time I just take the other side of my brush, and you're going to set your under eye area. So you just, and again, you don't need a lot. You just put a little bit on and kind of set there. I mean, first of all, I love the setting powder because it diffuses fine lines and softens the area, which I need a lot. And I'll just kind of go in and set all the areas that I did a little highlight. Okay, so now your under eye area is set, and your product should not move. Now you're ready to go with mascara. Okay? Okay, so one of the tips that I actually just did that I skipped to tell you was tip number 6, was to set your eyeliner with shadow. So just like I did, I put on the under eye, I put the liner under eye, set it with shadow. You don't have to smudge it, but you can set it with a shadow. That will help keep that liner in place. Okay, it doesn't have to be a cream shadow, it can be a regular compressed shadow. So when you put your eyeliner on, set it, just take like a dark liner or a dark color. So for example, if I was using black, I could use palette 2 Peppy, and I would just take my little brush, dab it on here, and then set it in place. Set my liner in place, okay? You're mattifying the liner and also helping keep it in place. So that's tip number 6. Again, I'm giving you 7 tips. You might not need to do every single one of them, but write them all down so that way you can try one, see if that worked. Try another one, see if that worked. Try the 2 together, see if that worked. It's all going to be about experimenting what works for you. Okay, so that was tip number 7 or 6. God, my numbering system. Tip number 7. Okay, the last tip is this. If you have watery eyes, okay, if you are someone that's prone to getting pretty much watery eyes throughout the day, then I would only put eyeliner on the outer 3/4 of your eye. I would not go all the way in, okay, because that will help as well, especially if you're tearing up in the inner duct area. Only put eyeliner on the outer thirds of your eye. Okay, I'm going to review for you the 7 tips. I know it says 6 in the body of this email if you're watching this right now, but if you're watching us in the replay, it's correct because I'm going to change it. The 7 tips on how to avoid smudging or under eye darkness from your makeup. Number 1, prior to putting on your makeup, if you're using an eye serum or an eye treatment, make sure that it's not a heavy based treatment, that it's very, very light, okay? So Heather, I know you use the instant lifting serum. That's very light. You just need very little, okay? When you put your moisturizer on, avoid putting moisturizer in the under eye area, okay? Typically, you would still want to do that if you have dry skin or combination of dry skin, but if you are getting movement under your eye from your makeup, then don't put moisturizer there before makeup. But definitely put it on at night, like a heavy one, okay? Number 2, primer goes on the top of your lid and the bottom. So get right where you're putting your product. Make sure you put eye primer in that area as well. Tip number 3, put a setting powder on top of your primer. Let your primer sit for a minute. Put a setting powder on top of your primer to continue to mattify and keep that area dry. Number 4, if you're using under eye concealer, and you've tried those tips and your under eye concealer is a wet based concealer, okay, like a cream concealer, switch to using a powder concealer. I use compressed foundation powder, but you could use a loose mineral concealer as well. You just got to experiment what look you like best. Make sure you're wearing a long wearing eyeliner, meaning that it's not something that's specific for smudging, okay? So there are some eyeliners out there that are specific for smudging. Those tend to be oil-based, which tend to move on your face. So wear a long-wearing liner that will stay in place, and of course, that's what I use. It's called Perfect. That's the color, and it's just an eyeliner, and it goes on nice and smooth. Tip number 6, I just apologize. Tip number 6, set your liner with a shadow. So take a dark shadow, like a black shadow, use a little brush, I use this as a crease brush, and just mat it on. Okay, set your liner with shadow. Try that technique. And then tip number 7, if you have watery eyes, if your eyes tend to water throughout the day, then I would only put eyeliner on the outer 3/4 of your eyes. I hope that was helpful for you. I'm gonna go finish the rest of my makeup. If it was, make sure that you give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you saw some benefit from this. Be sure to share this with someone if you believe that this was helpful and you think it would help some of your girlfriends too. And of course, if you are wanting to check out any of the products that I talk about, you can go to thicklonglashes.com. Hey, and I'm also looking for women that need or want to make extra money on Facebook for the holidays. I am right now training 5 women on how to do that using Facebook, never leaving their house. So send them my way or private message me if that's you. Have a great day. Ciao.